Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Small School AD on the Educational AD podcast. We'll be right back with this week's Small School Athletic Director, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, you've heard me say many times before, these are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. You really should be using them. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview, and then go and visit these sponsors, particularly if you're not already using them. Okay, here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Huddle for their support of the podcast. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes love the videos, our parents love the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's also a great way to share your school's unique history and brag about your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. We'd like to thank Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Their team will have you creating world-class social media content in seconds. And it's so easy, even I can do it. Your student athletes are on social media. So are a lot of their parents. And Gipper's used and trusted by over 20,000 schools, district, and athletic programs. Go to Gipper.com. Make sure you mention the podcast. That's Gipper.com. We also want to thank Hometown Ticketing. Hometown's the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Whether it's more support, more security, or more customization, the Hometown team is here to help you make the best online ticketing solution. We'd like to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com to get started. We want to thank our good friends at Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and then been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with great success. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it because it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms, but if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. Go to snapraise.com. We'd also like to thank the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from Ohio University, but my assistant athletic director did, and it was a great experience. It's very affordable, just 20 months, totally online. And while you're completing your master's degree, you're also completing 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. That's ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. We want to thank our good friends at Home Campus for their support. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day, whether it's scheduling, rosters, results, communication. Their athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is worth the price. Go to homecampus.com to get started. That's it, homecampus.com. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic directors already get feedback, but a lot of times it's from a very small group that just wants to complain. Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% that supports your program. And that information is incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, or maybe your principal, or maybe your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Small School AD on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to Texas today, and we're going to visit with Samantha Hannifin. Samantha is the athletic director and the PE instructor at St. George Episcopal School, and that's in the San Antonio area. Has a tremendous background in athletics, and we're excited to have her on the program today. Samantha, welcome to Small School AD.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
Well, you and I were talking before. It's a busy time for athletic directors. Fall season's winding up. We've got playoffs. Winter season is here. So let's go and jump right in. We always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us that quick bio, where you were born, where you kind of grew up, and then we're excited to hear about St. George Episcopal.
Absolutely. So my name is Samantha Hannifin. My maiden name is Pittman. I am from a town outside of San Antonio called Schertz, Texas. I grew up there, went to Clemens High School, played volleyball, basketball, ran track for the majority of my time there. I was on newspaper. I did some yearbook, and really kind of found a passion in volleyball. I want to say my freshman year of high school. So, club volleyball wasn't really a big thing back then. So it was kind of a very elite thing to do. So, my mom got me a tryout for a club team, and I started playing club volleyball in my sophomore year and absolutely fell in love with it. Found my passion. And so all the other sports kind of, did what they needed to do. And I solely focused on volleyball from that point forward. So played golf and volleyball from sophomore year till my senior year. I got originally signed a letter of intent to Texas Christian University, and then had to quickly make an adjustment based off of what I wanted to do later in life, because nobody really talks to you about what you want to do after the fact. So I actually ended up declining my letter of intent and then signing on with UTSA, and I played there for a couple of seasons. So I wanted a degree in communication, public relations, and I really felt like that was what my dream job was. I actually got hired on to work at Fox News, and loved my time there. I had a little bit more free time in my world since I was single, didn't have any kids, and wanted some new experiences. So I actually took on the role as a middle school volleyball coach over at TMI Episcopal, a private school here in San Antonio. So in addition to that, I was kind of coaching club volleyball and really, really loving that. So once I started coaching middle school volleyball at TMI, I just knew that that was my calling. I needed to further my career path into education. And that's what I needed to do. I felt that God was calling my name. He was telling me that this is what I need to do with my life. And so I kind of jumped right in. So I worked at TMI Episcopal for about 4 years. And then I actually coached my former head of school's kids at TMI. And so he offered me a job at St. George Episcopal. So I've been here for 12 years now. This is my 12th year. During that time, I was able to get my master's degree at Concordia University, and I got my master's in education with a concentration in athletic administration. I just had a gut feeling that this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And I've been here ever since. So I was actually hired on to be the PE teacher slash work in admissions. And then I was also the assistant athletic director. So it's a small school, so you kind of wear a lot of hats. But I love that because I love being busy, and I just like going, right? So did that, and then up until this is my third year as athletic director. And I'm still kind of learning the ropes and what have you. I am the only athletic director here, so I manage all first grade through eighth grade sports here on our campus. So again, it's very busy all the time, but I absolutely love it. And I also coach our volleyball program here at St. George. And I also coach track as well. So our volleyball program has tremendously grown since I've been here. I think we only had two teams when I first started on, and now I've grown that up to nine teams. So I have nine volleyball teams, fourth grade through eighth grade. And I've got several coaches that help me as well. So I'm not the only coach that's doing it. But I do coach I do coach two of the fifth grade teams just to help that transition from lower to middle school. And then I coach the top seventh and eighth grade team. So but yeah, this is my 12th year, and it feels like I'm still in my second or third, but I think it's very important finding a career, finding a job that doesn't feel like work. And it feels like a second home. And I've been privileged enough to have found that at such a young age.
Well, you brought up several great points. I just want to touch on them briefly. One, your degree path. You want to be in public relations, communication, but as a former athlete, jock, if you will,
Yeah.
you started coaching again, and that kind of in a good way sucked you back in, and you
Yes.
made those connections. You mentioned the head of your school, you'd coached their kids, and that led to being considered, offered a position at your current school. So again, the
Hmm.
message to our younger listeners that are starting their careers is get out there, put yourself out there, and build that network, build your connections. You also touched on a Captain Obvious here for our listeners on small school AD is
Hmm.
wearing a lot of hats. I mean, you're the AD, you're coaching, you're teaching, and because of the position of athletics in any school, you are by a default part of the admissions program because people are going to
Hmm.
see your program. Obviously, athletics they call the front porch of a school. Um,
Right.
what's your enrollment there at St. George? How many different teams do you have? And what are some of the things that you found so far in your experience as an administrator, as a coach, to really be impactful for you as a leader and a small school athletic director?
Absolutely. So our current enrollment right now is 542 students, and that's junior kinder or pre-K through eighth grade. So but we don't offer sports until first grade. So I have found that um typically first through fifth grade, or really first through fourth grade, they just want to be with their friends. They want to spend extra time with their friends, and that's great. I think giving kids an opportunity to be a part of something where they can create, have those relationships flourish, and for them to learn big picture life lessons. I think those are the huge basis of sports in general. And if I'm able to be a small puzzle piece with that, with their life, then I will totally take it. So we really encourage our kids to not just sports, but other enrichments and extracurricular activities to get out there and to be involved, because you never know what you're going to find yourself liking or being passionate about. And this is the time to try out and to try those sports, because once you get to high school, it's pretty much said and done, right? So we really try to encourage kids at this age, that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to join something that you're like, this is totally not for me, and then move on, because this is the time to do it. So we've kind of created that culture of yes, I want it's totally okay for you to want to be with your friends and to join sports teams for that reason. But when you get a little bit older, it gets a little bit more serious. So really, we really try to teach the kids, going into sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, that you're really fixating on what you want to do in your next chapter after middle school is done, because we're only a pre-K four through eighth grade school. So um, they feel comfortable being able to join those teams and try something new that they typically wouldn't do here, because it's kind of like an open door it's an open door policy here, do it, make mistakes. You don't want to do it. That's totally okay with that. Let's move on. Let's find something else that you're passionate about. And if it's not sports, then what else could it be? Is it art? Is it music? Is it theater? What is it? We want you to do something that you're going to be passionate about and love doing. Um, so that's kind of what the culture that we have created here at St. George.
You mentioned in volleyball that, and this is in like a middle school setting, not even middle school, high school. You have 9 volleyball teams.
Mhm.
Um, how does that work into, again, it's probably another Captain Obvious question, but how does that work into the idea of no cuts and, developing fundamentals while at the same time, hey, we do want to try to win some games. How
Right.
do you manage all of that?
Absolutely. So we don't have cuts here. I'm very big on that. I came from a school that did do cuts, and it was as a coach, that was a hard thing for me to do. And I can totally understand it in public school setting because I was a public school kid my entire life, right? But in private school, it's different. You don't have that many kids trying out. We do call them tryouts, but they show up and it's more of like, where are you developmentally so we can put you on a team where you're going to flourish and kind of make it your own and learn the skills and values that you need to learn. So it's all skill based. We put the obviously the stronger kids on the top teams. But there are some times where we have some really strong kids that are need to work on their leadership skills, or they need to work on their body language, or they need to work on working together as a team. So I will put those kids on a secondary team if they don't fully grasp what the top teams mean. So I'm very big on big picture stuff. I know I know not everybody's going to play volleyball for the rest of their life. I know maybe half of them will go off and play in high school. So I'm all about teaching the big life lessons and working together in a team environment and being a kind, generous, a hardworking kid. I think those are all core values that that will send them off into their next chapter of life, and whatever that brings, then that's great. But I'm all about big picture moments, and really trying to get these kids to understand that when you grow up, you're going to be working in big teams all the time, and you have to learn how to adapt. And sometimes you're not always the leader, sometimes you're not always the captain, and kind of knowing what your role is on a particular team.
Yeah, I mean, just fantastic stuff. Much of my career was in similar schools, but more K through 12, or, one case 6 through 12. So I had the opportunity to see those kids maybe start out on that third or fourth developmental team in middle school
Hmm.
and actually progress and become a contributing member. In one case, I can think of literally becoming a star as they blossomed at the high school level. Have you had a chance to see those things or hear about those things, kids coming back to you and say, hey, coach, thanks for that opportunity?
Absolutely. Yep. I'm very big on following our kids after they leave here from St. George. I immediately ask them for their schedules, and we try to make it out to at least one game a season. And it's again creating that culture of you work hard here at this level. This is what you could be doing in the next near future. So I think it's very important for those kids to see um, other different levels of play, but it's also good for them to see, oh, this kid also went through St. George. They were there their entire life, and now they're playing varsity as a freshman. That's phenomenal, right? And it's good for the parents to see that too, that it just doesn't happen overnight, that it's all about the development. It's all about the work that you put in. Sally went and she was doing lessons. She was also working with a trainer, also working with a nutritionist. And this is why, as a freshman, she was on the varsity team. So I think it's very important for those big picture moments. Because I think at the end of the day, you could tell somebody so many things, but for them to see it and view it and kind of absorb all that information for themselves is huge.
Yeah, you're so right. Speaking of following someone, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and connect with you, find out how you do things at St. George, or just add you to their network. And listeners, sounds like you have a great resource here. What's the
Mhm.
best way they can get a hold of Samantha Hannifin?
Oh, absolutely. They can email me. My email address for school is S for Samantha S Hannifin, Hannif, as in Frank, IN at Saint, spelled out SAINT, georgeschool.org. Or they can give me a call at any time and I can provide my cell phone number.
Okay, we'll put that in the show notes as well. And Samantha is also on LinkedIn, so you can
Mhm.
follow her there. Well, Samantha, thanks again for sharing with our listeners today on Small School AD. All the best with the coming seasons and school year. And I mean, you're down there in Texas. Are we going to see you in Austin at the NADC?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we will definitely be connecting there. I want to get a picture.
Yeah.
Samantha, thanks again, and we'll see you in Austin.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, we want to say thanks to our listeners too, and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this segment every single week, and just about every day we try to share stories and best practices. So come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, before we go, we want to give a shout out one more time to all of our great sponsors. Let's say thanks to Snap Raise. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. Go to snapraise.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Home Campus, that's a platform you're going to use every single day, I promise you. Go to homecampus.com. We want to say thank you to Gipper. Start creating world-class social media content to promote your kids and programs. That's gipper.com. Huddle. I was a coach that used Huddle, and as an athletic director, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com for more information. We want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Go to athleticsurveys.com. And the Ohio University Online Masters. You can find out more information at ohio.edu/info/MAA. The Ohio University Online Masters. Thanks again for listening to Small School AD. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.